So a number of prisoners recently released from prison early do not have their electronic tags. Over 1,700 prisoners were let out early to ease overcrowding, but the shocking part is that many weren't fitted with the ankle tags that are meant to track them. Now the Ministry of Justice is blaming Serco, the contractor responsible for managing the tagging system. But let's pause for a second. How is it acceptable to place all the blame on a contractor when this was clearly a failure in planning at a higher level? When the government decided to release a significant number of prisoners early, the plan should have been airtight. We're not talking about a small administrative oversight here. We're talking about public safety. These tags are crucial because they ensure that released prisoners are being monitored, especially those with curfews or restrictions. Failing to fit these tags in time means that some of these individuals are roaming free without any form of supervision, which is a glaring gap in the system. One offender told the BBC that although he's been sticking to his curfew, he knows others who aren't, because they haven't been tagged. This isn't just a minor issue, it's a disaster waiting to happen, especially considering that a significant number of those released are expected to reoffend. Now, according to the Chief Inspector of Probation, about 1/3 of all early releases could lead to reoffending. That's a sobering statistic, and without proper tracking in place, the risk only increases. What we're seeing here is a clear breakdown in planning and execution. The Ministry of Justice knew they would be releasing these prisoners early as part of an overcrowding prevention strategy. Now, it wasn't a surprise. So why wasn't there better coordination to ensure that the electronic monitoring systems were ready and able to handle the increased demand? Blaming Serco for a backlog doesn't explain why the government didn't foresee these problems. If tagging is such an integral part of the release conditions, how can you release prisoners without having enough tags in place? The Ministry of Justice is holding an urgent meeting with Serco to address the delays, and they're talking about imposing financial penalties if Serco doesn't resolve the issue quickly. But financial penalties aren't the solution here. Fixing the root of the problem is. It raises the question, how did it get to this point? The early release scheme should have included contingency plans for tagging and tracking from day one, and yet here we are. The priority, they say, has been to tag domestic abuse offenders first, and while that's absolutely crucial, it doesn't excuse the fact that many other offenders are out and about without the required supervision. Whether these individuals pose a direct risk or not, the point is that the system is broken if they're being released without fulfilling the very conditions of their release. This entire situation reveals a deeper flaw in how we handle public safety. Yes, easing overcrowding in prisons is important, but should never come at the expense of properly monitoring those who are released. And let's be clear, this isn't about scaremongering or exaggerating the risk. It's about recognizing the critical role that planning and accountability play in public safety. If the government can't properly manage the logistics of something as fundamental as tagging released prisoners, then how can the public trust that they're keeping them safe? So what do you think? Is this just poor management, or does it speak to a larger issue in how we handle the justice system? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're interested in more discussions on topics like this, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.